You know, guys, I gotta be honest, this is very dangerously starting to look like a 100% playthrough. I'm just that obsessed with finding things. So last time we explored the northeast of the Weeping Peninsula, and today we'll focus on the center part of it. I start by wasting some time looking around and get some extra stuff from the merchant. I see some big tombstones and I get struck by the possibility that there might be something on them. So I go around and see, but there's nothing, so I finally decide to go towards the central area. There's some dogs guarding a crucified guy and some rainbow stones. And some more dogs drinking peacefully. Not for long, though. Near there's a grace and some monkeys apparently getting shot at. I decide to go uphill and summon my new demi-human ashes to deal with some flowers. But I remember I have a spell for poison, so I decide to go back to test its usefulness and, flex on the flowers. It's not all that interesting, but I guess it can substitute the antidote balls. I climb the lookout tower and find a hand ballista, but I can't use this one either, and I'm not that interested. Perimetering the area doesn't get me much, and I go back down to the grace and move on. Near here there's a bridge, but it looks like it brings me over to the left of the woods I want to get to, so instead I teleport back to the merchant and go uphill from there to see if the road will get me to the woods I want. And I stumble upon a shack with some crazy rats. There's nothing interesting in the shack, so I continue onwards until a group of crazy mice ambushes me and brutally murders me in a mob attack. And I'm not being mean, by the way, they are literally mad. They kill me with madness, so. And apparently they also killed the game, because afterwards it refused to load, and I had to close and reopen it. So next time I take it a bit more carefully and recover my runes, kill the rats with fireballs. From perimetering, I spot a scarab that is a bit too low from here, but I put a marker to deal with it later. I summon some skeleton friends, and we get to a village full of crazy people. I'm still not being mean. They have the glowy eyes of madness. Do not be confused with the glowy eyes of grace, or the red glowy eyes that I still don't know what they mean. In the village, there's a church. So typical. In the church, there's some more rats and a bigger rat. In fireballing him, I make a huge discovery, which is that I can charge spells. I'm very shocked by this revelation, which coincidentally was also told to me by Amber over in the comments shortly after this happened. In the church, I find my new favorite spell, the Flame of Frenzy, which lets me spawn fire directly from my eyes. The amount of fire spells I'm collecting makes me feel like a firebender, which is probably my true Hogwarts house. So, drop your Hogwarts house and bending type in the comments, I guess. After this, I took a break and came back the day after. So, I equip all my firebending skills and go perimetering the woods. There are some bird people who are annoying because they fly, shoot me with big-ass feather arrows, which make me end up looking like a bird-themed Christmas tree. While looking around, I get curious about some of the towers on the walls. Considering I could jump with Torrent on one of them, why not the other towers? So I take a note of it. I also find a glowy-eyed owl, but I'm still workshopping the owl message. So I just put down a simple praise the bird. I go back to test the dragon spell on rats and discover I can charge that one too, which is very good. Then I do some parkour before considering myself satisfied and teleporting back to the merchant. So I want to go check if I can actually jump on those towers I was saying. So I walk near the wall. There's no torrent jump, but I do find some tarnished sunflowers, which are good to craft holly bombs, and a message that says try night. So of course I do go try night. Upon passing the time at the grace, I'm greeted by a Dementor horse guy, so of course I have to fight him. It's a standard horse fight, and after trying out my spells to see if they were feasible, I end up just fighting him normally and finishing him with some fireballs, charged fireballs. He drops the Barricade Shield, Ash of War, and his flail weapon, which is a dex weapon, so basically of no use to me. I go back to the merchant to use up some runes, and I buy the ballista he sells just to have, a viable long-range weapon. I waste a bit of time trying it out, but I have not understood how to use it effectively yet. I pass time again, just in case, and go back to the sunflowers where I wanted to go in the first place. And oh cute, there's some bats now, and oh my god, what is that horrible monster? The horrible monster is a death bird apparently, and is pretty terrifying. I think the reason is its cool head that seems to be constantly looking directly into your soul, even though it has no eyes, kind of like a doll in a horror movie. In any case, it's nothing a bunch of fireballs can't deal with. He drops me a sacrificial axe. I'm kind of biased towards axes, poles, and spears, so I kind of want to check it out. It requires 16 strength, which is feasible, even though I don't have it yet. And the description says it restores some FP when used, and the moveset is okay. So we will keep it in mind. I perimeter a bit, but there is still no jump for torrents, so I go back to explore the northern side of the peninsula a bit more. I go downhill this time into the woods, and soon spot a trident. No, I mean an owl. I spot an owl, and I write down bird. The trident spawns another golden ghost, which leads me to a cave called Earthbore Cave. Even though a message tries to warn me, I still fall in the trap and are devastated by a group of rats. In my defense, I was expecting a mimic, and not a hole in the floor. I had a lot of runes, so I was kind of paranoid about losing them, so I equip Assassin's Approach to try some stealth again. Luckily for me, these rats are not crazy and are actually blind, I think. So Assassin's Approach is actually very effective this time. I slowly but surely make my way to my runes, then a bit at a time I kill all the rats with firebending, and then I fall further down to where a giant bear is sleeping. I kind of despise fighting the giant bears because they are huge and have a very big range, so I summon my jellyfish friend, who valiantly starts blasting the bear while I try to charge attack as much as possible to stun it. We are successful, luckily, and I get the talisman that gives magical protection, so nothing too exciting. I level up a little bit, and at this point I'm pretty close to 16 strength, but I need a couple more runes. I go out to explore the woods some more, and I find a camp. A message warns me to be wary of the ill-omened creature. What ill-omened creature, I wonder? You won't believe me, but I actually got scared, because I didn't see it. As I was playing, I wondered if this meant that maybe the bird people were guarding the corpse on the ground and were protecting the former master. But from looking at the footage now and seeing the corpse only had a rainbow stone, I think it was just a trap, actually. There's another owl, and therefore another message to leave. I write bird with an exclamation mark this time. I'm very creative. There's a bunch of monkeys in the woods, and even some demi-human forest ruins. This must be demi-human territory. This monkey business is kind of interesting. Does it mean that in the world of Elden Ring, a whole different bunch of monkeys are evolving to human-like intelligence? Maybe. In the ruins, there's a basement with the shield of the guilty. I think I'm done with shields, though, for now. The ruins also hold a bigger space, whatever, with a bigger monkey in it. I tried luring some smaller monkeys out, like the message suggested, but was unsuccessful. So since stealth failed, I therefore escalated the situation and blasted crazy magic from my eyes.
Anyway, I started blasting. Bang! Bang!
Which took care of the situation pretty well and got me a magic staff and a glintstone spell, which I don't care about because we're not about that. There's nothing much else around except an owl, already surrounded by positive messages, so that's good. I added one that says offer loyalty. I get out of the woods and go uphill towards some flowers, and I discover that flowers in this universe have developed to the point of being able to hold satanic rituals, apparently, which is nice for them. In their pot of Satan, I find a crystal tear that boosts fate, which is very good for me. And a bit upwards, I find the mother of the satanic flowers that goes down pretty simply with some firebending. Even more uphill, I find myself on a very beautiful plain with some people peregrinating from a church. This church does not have the normal big statue of Marika, but it has a big statue of someone else. And when I sit down in it, Melina drops me some lore. So she channels Marika and continues talking about the tarnished Lorne, or so I assume. After their death, she says she will give grace back in order for the tarnished to come back to the lands between and quote-unquote brandish the Elden Ring. She also calls us warriors of Godfrey, which is a familiar name that I can't place right now. I level up to 16 strength, which means I can use the axe, so I test it out a bit again. It's not bad, but I am kind of worried that its range is kind of shit. In the church, there's also a sacred tier, and outside there's a cemetery with some undead in it. There's also a gilded iron shield and some glowy jellyfish and a crucified dude that makes too much noise for my liking. In front of the church, there's also a ghost that says something interesting about an unwanted child of Marika that is apparently a soulless demigod. I initially thought he was talking about the statue in the church, but I see now that he mentions the mausoleum that seems to cradle this demigod, son of Marika. So maybe it's not about the statue, or maybe it's about both the statue and the mausoleum. Around the statue, there's also a bunch of golden centipedes, which description says that they were kept as object of worship for Golden Order fundamentalists, like D, I think. Now that I think about it, D talk about a centipede or something. So I spent some more time investigating the noise that I think is coming from the crucified guy. I thought it might be an NPC, but all my attempts to interact with him fail, and after trying for way too long, I decided it's probably not possible. He's definitely making the noise though. Parkouring on the church also doesn't lead me to anything, so I teleport to the round table hall to do some chores before checking out. A new door is open, and inside is the guy who was rude to me last time. Still doesn't tell me his name, and again tells me to go get a great rune. But he also says he's sick and tired of all the other tarnish in the hold, so at least I'm not the only one he's being rude to. I put the Fate Ash of War on my new axe, and I upgraded a bit. Then go get a hug from Fia, and then immediately use the buff to get rid of her debuff. You never know what will lead to a quest, right? I then decide to try and jump down to the hall, even though I already knew what was going to happen. And, as I knew, I get invaded by Mad Tongue Alberich, who disrespectfully dodges my fireballs and hands me my ass. I'm not sure why I decided to lose my runes as my final action of the day, but when I try to go back, my runes seem to have disappeared. Though I see now they were actually hidden behind some spears. After I die, I just give up on the whole thing, as Alberich seems out of my league now, and just, check out. See you next time as we finish exploring the central part of the peninsula, and thanks for watching.